Hi, and welcome to this Fornav coffee break. My name is René Brummel. I'm a product specialist at Fornav, and I will be your presenter today. As this coffee break is live, you can ask your questions via the GoToWebinar question window. We will answer them at the end of the coffee break. Today, we're going to use advanced drag and drop in your Business Central report design. One of the main and most time-consuming parts of report design is adding fields, captions, images, barcodes, etc. in your report layout. With Fornav, we've made that as easy as finding the field you want to add and drag and drop it straight into your layout. To demonstrate drag and drop, I will create a new list report and add fields in an efficient way. To demonstrate drag and drop, I'm going to use these steps. Prerequisites, what do I need to get going? In step 2, I will explain drag and drop. In step 3, I will add images and barcodes. In step 4, I will add tables with headers. Let's start with the first step. Today, I will be dragging and dropping in a Business Central Cloud tenant with the Business Central 2021 Wave 2 release. I've installed the Fornav customizable report pack and I've executed the step-by-step wizard from the assisted setup to get started. Of course, everything I do today is also available on the Business Central on-premise environment. I also have the Fornav Designer installed on my PC. The Fornav Designer can be downloaded from the Fornav website. To demonstrate drag and drop in Fornav, I need a relatively clean report, so I will just create a new list report based on the customer table. I will start by adding the fields I need to the header. So let's go and switch over to Fornav and find a report template. I'm just going to create a new report from a list template. That's just the quickest way to set up a demo report, which is clean, so I can drag and drop lots of fields into the report. Of course, Murphy is joining us today. No matter how much you prepare all this stuff, something always seems to go wrong. So let's try this again. New report. That seems to look a bit better. So first thing I'm going to do is change my report name. I'll call my report drag and drop. And I will add a report caption. I'm going to add a report caption because it's the nice thing to do, but also because I need it in my demo. So let's add a caption. So now I have a new report. It's ready to add fields, ready to go. So let's start with adding some stuff on the header. On the header, you'll notice we have some fields already. We have the company name and the number of pages and the report name. But what I really want to do is I want to add my report caption to where the report.name is, and I want to add the report name as a new field on my header. So to add fields, I can find all of the fields I have in the field list, and the field list in the Fornav Designer is just a collection of all of the report tables that are connected to my report dataset. So I have my list table, that's the customer list, and that's the basis of my report. But I also have the company information table because Fornav connects to that by default. And I have some more stuff, some random stuff about the report in my report. We have done a full coffee break on the field list, by the way, so if you want to know more about that, just find the relevant coffee break. For now, I am just going to grab my report name and drag it straight into my report, like so, make it a bit wider and align it to the right. And that's how you simply add a new field, simply drag a new field into your report. If you want to replace a field that's already there, this now says report name, but I want to use the report caption, you can simply find the caption and drag it on top of the existing field and that will change the source expression from the report name to the report caption. So really it's as easy as that to drag new fields into your report. And of course I can do the same thing for my list because at the moment the body section is looking a bit bare. I want to add some data there, so let me just grab the number, which gets the customer number and the name. Now let's get some data in there as well. I'm going to add the net change LCY. Now the net change is a bit of a different field. The net change is not an actual field in the Business Central database. It is what we call a flow field, which means it needs to be calculated. Now normally in report design, when you add a flow field, you need to calculate it at some point. The same with 4nav, only 4nav does it automatically. Whenever you add a flow field into your report, 4nav will add it automatically to your calculated fields. So you don't need to think about it. You can just grab your field, drag it into your report, and if it needs to be calculated, 4nav will do that for you. So let's save this as an object on the server. That creates the extension and uploads it to my Business Central sandbox. And by the way, you can only do this in a Business Central sandbox. You can't do this straight into a Business Central production environment. So if you want to play around with this, make sure you're connected to a sandbox. Let me preview my report, which will open my sandbox. Hit preview and close. Let's zoom in a little bit. So what we've done, we have added the report caption. So drag and drop is cool. It's very cool. We've added the report name, 4nav drag and drop. That's the name we gave the report. And we've got some data in our body. So for every customer that's in my database, I don't have that many, I see the customer number, the customer name, and the net change. So that's the basics of dragging and dropping in 4nav. So now we have built our header with the text fields. We want to add some more advanced controls. So let's go and add an image and a barcode. For this we are going to need the shift key, or we are going to need the alternate mouse key. Both will work. If I go back to my report, you will have noticed that we've got the company information picture here. But with 4nav we like to use the picture that we've got on the 4nav setup, because we can use vectorized PDF images there. Also something we've talked about in a different coffee break. So I'm going to delete this image, and I want to add the image from the 4nav setup table. I don't have the 4nav setup table in my dataset, so I'm going to quickly add it. Find my records property, drill down, hit add 4nav setup, and I'm going to hit OK. That adds the 4nav setup to my 4nav record collection. I don't need to specify any links or link references because it is a setup table, so 4nav will simply realize this is the 4nav setup and it will get the setup automatically. Don't need to do anything. I'll hit OK. Now I've got the 4nav setup in my field list. I can find my logo. And now I can drag this logo into my report, and if I press the shift key whilst I'm dragging, 4nav will ask me what I want, so I can add it as a plain text box, which is a default. We saw that earlier. We can also add a caption in the text box, or a heading in the text box, or a picture box, or a barcode. Obviously this is a logo, so I want to display it as a picture. So let's do that. Make it a bit bigger. This is the 4nav logo, should be prominent. There we go. So I've added the 4nav setup.logo. Now whenever you add a picture or an image from a blob field, technically it's called a blob field in the Business Central database, again we need to calculate that field. But again, if I now go to my records properties, find the 4nav setup, you will notice that 4nav has added the logo to the calculated fields automatically. That's because I've dragged and dropped the image field into my report. So you should know that a logo field should be calculated, but 4nav will do it automatically for you. So that's the logo field. Then I want a QR code with my company homepage at the bottom of my report. So I'll make a bit more space right there, move the user to the left. On my company information, I have a home page. So find the home page, and I want to add this home page as a QR code in my report footer. So dragging, press Shift key, let go, and add it as a barcode. And you can use the alternate mouse key as well. You can't see it, but you can press the, in my case, the right mouse button and use that to drag your control, and that will do exactly the same thing as using the Shift key. There we go. Make that look nice. So in my control, by default, 4nav creates a code 1 to 8 with the show text set to yes. I don't want to show the text because my home page is a bit long. This is going to be a QR code. I will set the compaction mode to byte, and that's really all I need to do. So I've added a picture and I've added my barcode. Let's go and preview the report. So that adds the 4nav logo from my 4nav setup. Simply connect it to the 4nav setup table and use the logo in my report. And I have got my QR code with my company homepage. And if there's anybody out there with a quick QR code reader, there's a nice little Easter egg in there for you to enjoy. Finally, now we have our images and barcodes, we need to design the data we see on our report. Just some loose fields without headers don't really give us the information we need. So we want to add a table with a number of fields, and we want to add headers to that table as well. So let's go back to 4nav. Let's close this one, go back to the 4nav designer. Now you will have noticed I've got my number and name and list net change fields. I'm going to delete those because I want to add these in a table. Now in 4nav, of course, you can drag a table into your report and add the fields manually. But as I said, we really want to make this as simple as possible. So what we can also do is grab, let's grab some fields, number, name, number of invoices. Let's grab these fields, drag them into my report. You will notice if I select multiple fields with the Control key, just like any other Windows application, drag them into my report, I've got these 4 fields, and 4nav will add them as a table. And it will add the table rows in the number, in the order that you select your field. So I've added the number, name, name to, and number of invoices. So I've got the fields in that particular order. That still does not give me my table header. So let's see if we can make that, if we can add those as well. So I'll add my fields again. I'm going to add some different fields now, just because I can. I'll grab the number, name, I'll scroll right to the top. I'll grab my address and the balance LCY. I'm going to drag these into my report, but I'm going to drop them on the list data item. And if I do that, you will notice 4nav creates for me a list header and a list body. And in the header, I've got the captions that I want, and in the body, I've got the fields that I want. Means also that I can delete my body 1. So I've got my captions. Let's make the captions bold and give them a border, bottom border. And that's pretty much all I want to do. Now, once again, list.balance LCY is a flow field, so let's see if what I say is correct. 4nav adds my balance LCY flow field to the calculated fields of my list data item. Don't need to think about it, don't need to do anything about it. 4nav will simply add it for me. One more caveat: if you use this for instance, things like invoice lines, where you have amounts that you want to calculate, 4nav will find those amounts and automatically add a footer as well with the amount totals, and the amount totals will be added automatically to the total fields in my data item property. I just have to balance LCY here, which is not an amount field, so it's not added right here. I need to save as an object on the server. I've added a flow field, which means I've added changed my report data item. So I'll save it once more and preview. And if I zoom in, you will notice I now have my captions, where the balance caption is aligned to the right, which is nice. And I've got my number, name, address, and balance LCY. So let's recap what we just did. The first thing we did was to quickly create a new report and drag some fields from the field list into the layout. We noticed we could use any field from any table that is connected to our report. We also found we could add complex fields like barcodes and images from the field list. Finally, we were able to automatically add a table with headers by selecting multiple fields and dropping them on the data item. Thank you for listening to me so far. Let's see if we have any questions. We don't have any questions at the moment, so I will go and wrap up this coffee break. If you want to know more about 4nav, or if you want to download the 4nav Designer and Converter, please visit our website. If you want to install 4nav in Business Central Cloud, please visit Microsoft App Source. You can watch more videos about 4nav on our YouTube channel. If you have any questions about 4nav, please email them to support@4nav.com. For a full list of upcoming and recorded coffee breaks, please visit 4nav.com/coffeebreak. Thank you very much for listening to me today, and goodbye.